Do you think it's funny to take people's wheelchairs away from them?
Okay, cool deal.
Yeah,
How's
no.
it going, bud?
You know, you laugh about it, man. That's the ADA. You can't steal somebody's wheelchair away from them, dude. That's just dirty pool, bro. Go away or go to jail for what? Interfering with what? For what? For what?
Interfering.
I'm just standing right here on the sidewalk, sir. That's all I'm doing.
You're on the sidewalk.
I am on the sidewalk.
You're on the sidewalk. You can't do that.
So we got a 2-for-1 today. I was trying to find out some information on the Galveston police officers that stole this man's wheelchair, and in the process of all that, an officer comes ripping through traffic, and when I stop to figure out who it is, it turns out being one of the guys at the arrest that resulted in them abandoning somebody's wheelchair. So we'll get into the traffic first, then we'll get into the wheelchair thing. Give a sit down and watch. Make sure to comment at the end or comment along. Let me know what you think. And there goes GPD hauling ass. Let's go see if he's actually going somewhere important, eh, guys? So he's speeding, no lights, no sirens. Again, no light, no blinker, not stopping, just rolling that one, huh? There he goes, popping lights and sirens, headed back the other way. After watching all of those driving shenanigans go down, I called the sergeant on duty and talked to him, and decided that actually instead of filing a complaint online, I was going to head on down to the office and just file it down there since I was already downtown. On my way back, I find the patrol car pulled over at a convenience store, and I figured I'd go and see who was in it. I didn't know who was in it at the time. I wanted to see which officer was in it because I've made complaints before, and since I didn't know the officers and this and that, they have actually they've lied, and we'll get into that in another video. But as I'm talking to him, I look over at his badge and I realize that it's coffee, and my blood starts to boil. So I decided to go ahead and get on out of there and go down and file my complaint. So now we can look at the interaction that I had with coffee at the convenience store, and then after that interaction, I will pull up the Facebook post that he made and go through that with everybody. Hey.
How can I help you?
Yeah, I was going down 61st earlier, and you flew by me.
Yeah.
No lights or sirens or anything on.
Okay.
So, you know, as a citizen of the city, you know, we've had enough deaths, and there's enough deaths in your profession from things like that.
Okay.
You know, I'd appreciate if you just try and do better.
When I was going down 61st, I did have my license.
No, not when you were going that way, and then you went and took the turn into Randall's.
When I was turning around to come down to a medical emergency.
When you went that way, past the boat ramp?
Coming down to turn.
No, when you were going south, you were speeding. Then you changed lanes with no blinker. Then you hit the stop sign, and you didn't stop, and you didn't use a blinker. Then you went down
Okay. Do you have any of that on video?
Yep, I have it on dash cam.
Okay, let's see it. mean,
No,
I don't remember.
I mean,
doing
Coffee,
that.
come on. I know who you are and I know what you do, dude.
Okay, that's cool. But like,
You know,
I don't
do you think
remember
it's
doing
funny to take people's wheelchairs away from them?
that. Okay, cool. Then.
Yeah,
How's it
no.
going, bud?
You know, well, you laugh about it, man. That's the ADA. You can't steal somebody's wheelchair away from them, dude. That's just dirty pool, bro.
So, what we've got here is the Facebook post that Coffee got into and started making comments as a Galveston police officer. This is what got me looking for the public information about this request so that I could see kind of what happened. Since it's an ongoing case, they wouldn't give me anything. But luckily, Coffee's a blathermouth, and while trolling the community, he let us know. So, this wheelchair is at a major intersection, the major intersection on the island. This is the causeway coming over from the mainland onto the island. Probably half of the cars that come on the island go through here. And they've left this man's wheelchair here on a median. As we go through and come down, we see that some people had figured they'd been taken to jail. Here we see that there were 5 or 6 police officers there to arrest him. You get the obligatory comments of why it takes 6 officers, and somebody said 3 or 4 patrol cars for a man on a median in a wheelchair, but officer safety, of course. People are having conversations here about how long it's been there, and speculating. Somewhere in here, somebody says that he was being chased by a man with a brick, or that there was a confrontation. Some guy had a brick and was coming after him. So, you know, it sounds like man with brick versus man in wheelchair with knife. But we don't know what happened. Keep trying to find out, but you know. Here we have his mugshot. So, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 11/20 of 23. So that wheelchair's been left there for over 2 weeks. Now, we get right below that. Oh, this is most relevant. I need to go to all. That's top comments. I'm kind of curious how the Coffee comments aren't in the top comments, since they go on for a while. So Officer Coffee comes in here and points out that while the man was being arrested, and when they asked him if he wanted his wheelchair, he informed them to shove it up your unshiny bits. And apparently that upset the officers, so they decided that they would just leave his wheelchair. Because somebody being upset about being arrested is a good reason to leave their wheelchair. I note that it was that it sounds like the arresting officers had their feelings hurt, and then Officer Coffee comes in and tells me, you know, feel free to go pick it up and hold it until he gets out, buddy. I mean, I didn't write the report, but I definitely helped arrest old boy, ha ha. And, you know, I comment about, you know, they didn't even pick it up. If it was a car or something, they would have towed it. Coffee then informs me that he didn't make the mess. You know, if I'm concerned, I should go take care of it myself. Well, Coffee did make the mess. Because had you not arrested the guy, he would have taken his wheelchair with him because, well, he needs his wheelchair to get around. He has no legs. So I'm pretty sure he would have taken his wheelchair. And that I am apparently under the impression that picking up after grown men and women is his job. Crazy, right? Jeez. Love that you're taking up for a violent member of our community who actually assaulted someone with a knife. LOL. Priorities. Well, you know, you guys took the victim to the hospital to get his injuries checked out. I hope that he's doing okay. But then your response was to create another victim, because why not? You're the police. You can do what you want. The Galveston Police Department does that. If there's somebody that they don't care for and they don't feel that the local justice system is taken care of well enough, they'll go out of their way to make sure that they can punish them in any way possible. Because they're going to teach them. They're going to help you learn the lesson. These aren't things I'm making up or ad-libbing. These are statements out of my videos made by lieutenants and sergeants from the Galveston Police Department. Okay? If you want to find them, dig through some videos. They're there. So, you know, I get into the part here where, you know, I don't know the particulars of the case. I just didn't feel like doing, you know, something illegal was the way they should do it, and that he should at least follow his rules of conduct. So now he's going to do the typical cop thing where he's going to start justifying it and finding a way that what he did wasn't wrong. Okay? Technically, he abandoned it. No, you abandoned it, dude. You and your buddies, you and the GPD officers that were there with you, abandoned that wheelchair. Not that guy. He was chained up in the back of a cop car. And since it's not impeding traffic, then they shouldn't have to pick it up. I'm going to tell you right now, if you pull over on the side of the road in a parking spot and they decide they want to arrest you, they're going to tow your car. Even though it's legally parked in a parking spot, they will tow your car. Mostly because the Galveston Police Department needs to find a way to search every vehicle they pull over so that they can keep up this impression that they're somehow busting all of these major crime people because, like, somebody's got a zip of weed in their back pocket or hidden under their seat or whatever. But whatever. And then goes on to talk about how, you know, throw some sarcasm in about how he was absolutely destroyed by the man's comments and blah, blah, blah. You guys were obviously hurt. You know, otherwise you wouldn't have done it. And then here comes some more cop-splaining, you know. I wasn't the reporting officer, therefore redirect your concerns elsewhere. I've tried to find the reporting officer. They won't give me any information on this arrest. Technically, I guess they might, but it has gone through them, gone through the ADA, come back. I had 10 days to fight it, but I needed to. You gotta streamline this stuff and deal with it. If it's an ongoing case, they just won't give me anything. I tell him to, you know, keep telling himself that he did the right thing. Blame it on the other officers. Thanks for your input, buddy. I'll keep it in mind. Here. So he really thinks that it's a different thing to talk crap to customers, or customers. Sorry, to your boss, the citizens of the city, to stand here and talk crap to them on here instead of on the street. It doesn't really matter, Coffee. You're not protecting with respect like your car says. I mentioned some ADA rules here. And tell them that, you know, it proves that they were acting in malice. Thanks for your input, buddy. I see you're choosing not to acknowledge that I wasn't the reporting officer. Wish I could just ignore the facts like that. Must be liberating. Well, actually, you have a duty to intercede. That's in your manual too. You have a duty to intercede when you see something like this going on. When you see somebody breaking a law against a citizen, especially somebody that's a sovereign, you should stand up. But they are sovereign, so therefore, you know, I quote some ADA, some case law, and his response is, of course, to be sarcastically surprised. This lady, I really dislike that people stick up for the cops in general while we're talking about a specific incident. I mean, let's stay on track here. What this guy did is garbage. Then down here, somebody else says, "Oh wow," in response to his earlier comments, and he says, you know, "I'm just here to stir the pot, playa." You know, I bring that up, and he insinuates I'm not doing my civic duty because I didn't go pick up the wheelchair. I am doing my civic duty. I recorded the information, and I filed a complaint on you for coming out and trolling the citizens. Let's see how it works out once your jacket starts getting stuffed, and we'll go from there. All right. So, what do you guys think? You think somebody should say something to Coffee about driving around like an asshat? You know, if he'd actually been doing the speed limit, he would have been closer to that call when it came in. So I find a little irony in that, but that's a ridiculous game to play. Get jumping on Facebook and trolling the community, you know, protecting with respect. That's absolutely ridiculous. He broke so many policy violations and then admitted that him and other officers broke ADA rules. There's case law against it and whatnot. So I've got Officer Coffee, 2 complaints. One for the driving and one for getting on Facebook. I have not yet made a complaint against the incident itself and the entirety of the officers there, just because I hadn't really realized what all was going on there, and I was really hoping that I was going to have the officers' names for everybody before I made the complaint, but that's not going to happen. So, what's everybody think? You know, drop a message in here, and you know, do you think he should get in trouble for it? You think they should get in trouble for it? What do you think should happen with this? I look forward to seeing you in the comments.